I know. Doing pretty good. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you don't know, my name is Phil. Godlewski. If you didn't know that, you probably live under a rock or whatever you do. Don't Google me. It won't come back anything good. I promise you. So if you're here, you know what I'm talking about. We have echo. There cannot be an echo. There can't be an echo. There's no way there can be an echo. How could there possibly be an echo? Any better? There shouldn't. There can't. There's no way. There's no way. Is that any better? Stop now. Yeah, that was straight. That should not happen. Not with this equipment. I just shut it off and turned it back on. That's strange. That should not happen. It's the first time that's happened, obviously. Remember the echo problems that we used to have all the time? And then you spend $4,000 on a microphone and you think it goes away. And it did. It's the first time anyone said anything about an echo. So I just denied it immediately. Sorry about the last couple nights. I know I was supposed to go live Tuesday. And I came down with some strep throat starting, I think, Monday night. Sleeping Monday night was very, very difficult for me. And Tuesday was awful. And yesterday was kind of a recovery day. And I started feeling a little bit better maybe halfway through the day. And today I feel a lot better. I'm still going to be like this little lingering cough thing. It's nothing big. But when my throat gets dry, you know, I could feel it in there. So I cough a little bit. So sorry about the cancellation, but I do have full intentions to go live tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, maybe push to Sunday because I have a conflict. I have something going on with my kids. So I don't want to go live Saturday night. So it's probably going to be tonight, tomorrow, which is Friday, the 10th, and then again Sunday night, which is Mother's Day. So that's what we're looking at. But yeah, back to my sickness. That was the first time I've been sick in a very long time. I've lost a lot of weight. I lost about 23 or 24 pounds in the last 2 months. I don't know if you could tell. You could tell a little bit in my face. You could tell a lot in my midsection. If you would like me to take my shirt off now and show you, I would, but I'm not going to do that. So, but yeah, I lost a lot of weight, and I started eating healthier, and with these patches that I'm on, the LifeWave patches, I very, very rarely get sick anymore. So it's great. We're going to talk a little bit about LifeWave tonight too, because that has a little bit to do with what tonight's live is about. So we'll get into that a little bit later. Were you wearing your patch? Yes, I actually wear multiple patches a day. I wear the X39 and the X49. And then sometimes I wear some other ones too. I wear the skin one, the Alavita. I wear that one at night, overnight. And I wear other ones too. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later tonight too. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Looks like we got a large audience tonight. We have some stuff to talk about tonight that relates to my last live, which was about the upcoming imminent global economic collapse to the likes of which the world has never seen. This is nothing like the Great Depression. This is going to be nothing like the mortgage crisis of 2008. This is going to take all of those things and just exponentially expand on all of them. So what we're looking at is a very humbling new beginning, the end of the old cabal way, but the new beginning of our way. And what I'm going to do tonight is try to tie in where I think we're going to be going next from where we've been with the cabal control over the last 200 years. And it's going to be a really interesting show. So what I would ask is that you tune in to the very end. Some of the things I talk about tonight may not necessarily be for you when you first hear them, but if you stick around to the end, I think you're going to realize that what I'm talking about certainly does apply to everybody here. So we'll get to that. So why don't you, Phil, your double is on tonight. No, it's not a thing. I don't have a double. I don't think I'm popular enough to have a double, and that really hurts my ego. So maybe I need a double. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, why don't y'all tell me where you're from? Let's do that first. It's a cool way to start things off, right? Southeast Minnesota. I always say Minnesota that way. I don't know why. Richland, Texas. Old Forge, Pennsylvania. Italian Girl 4. It's my stomping grounds, my old stomping grounds. Hollywood, Maryland. Eureka, California. I have a home near there. Virginia Beach. Nashville, Arkansas. Okay, that's different. Myrtle Beach. San Antonio, Texas. Central Cali Coast. Lost Wages, Nevada. That could be true, or it could just be literal. Seneca, Pennsylvania. Pound, Wisconsin. Cortez, Colorado. Hazlitt, New Jersey. Denver. Findlay, Ohio. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Southwestern Ontario. Lincoln, Nebraska. Greenville, Texas. Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Columbus, Ohio. Palm Bay, Florida. Findlay, Ohio. Granger, Indiana. Humboldt, Tennessee. Calgary, Alberta. Flat Earth, Michigan. Ithaca, New York. Duncan, Oklahoma. Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Fabulous, of course, with a PH. California. That's what they should do. They should rename that state to California. I think it's much better that way. Way better of a word. Crappy, Michigan. It's funny. Grass Flat, Pennsylvania. Bonita Springs, Florida. It's a new one. Independence, Kansas. Flint, Michigan. Don't drink the water. New Braunfels, Texas. Catskill Mountains. Flagstaff, Arizona. Alberta, Canada again. Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Where's my international crowd? There we go. Philippines. Where's the other international? Homo's ass. That is spelled exactly that way. Homo's ass. It's not Homosassa because they missed an A. Homo's ass, Florida. Okay. All right. I'm reading it correctly. Go back and look. Sparta, Ohio. Lake Tahoe. One of my attorneys is from Lake Tahoe. Lake Havasu. Woo woo. Myrtle Beach. A little generic because there's a few Myrtle Beaches. Roxborough, North Carolina. Poland. There we go. Ontario, Canada. London, Ohio. That confused me. Thought it was foreign, but it wasn't. Ohio's kind of foreign anyway, isn't it? Roaring Brook, Pennsylvania. There you go. Sold lots of houses up there in my day. Okay, let's get one more that I haven't read. Dallas, Pennsylvania, right down the road. Trying to find like a new one that I don't. Hemphill, Texas. Look at that. Hemphill. Love it. Hemphill, Texas. That's a perfect one to land on, isn't it? Perfect one to end on for the night. It's cool. Well, thank you guys from tuning in. My name is Phil Godlewski, and I am in Pennsylvania. Shavertown, Pennsylvania is where I currently am, which is just down the road from Dallas, Pennsylvania. I grew up here in Pennsylvania. I can't say I love it here, but I could say I love what this area is about. Hardworking area. We don't have a very rich percentage of people. Very working middle class area. Strong people, strong-willed people. If you've ever watched the show The Office, obviously there's a lot of humor in the office, but that type of class of people where they're going to go to their job and do their job every day and, bring money home, put food on the table for their family. That's what our area is about. Would I choose to live here now at 40 years old? Probably not. I'd probably live somewhere else, but my kids are rooted here. And, as long as wherever they are, that's where I will be. So that's why I'm here. But obviously, I like to travel, and we have properties in different areas of the country as well as different areas of the world. And, I encourage everybody to travel if you could ever afford it. And maybe after tonight, maybe you will be able to afford it, because we're going to talk about a lot of things that I haven't talked about in quite a while because of various different reasons. But the way that the economy is going, and the way that what we're expecting to come up is right in front of our face now, I think we really have to start having serious conversations about not only preparing yourself with stuff like taking your retirement account out of the stock market and rolling it over into a precious metals bag. We've been talking about gold quiz for the longest time. If you haven't done that yet, you still have time. We could see again that gold and silver are on the rise yet again this week. Silvers are approaching. What did it end at? Let me look. It was almost, I think it was like 28.50. And 28.64 it ended at. Gold was up over $20 today. So we're looking at another strong week for precious metals. So again, if you haven't done that yet, I think you're missing out on a fantastic opportunity to not only save, but maybe double, triple, quadruple, or exponentially increase whatever you had in your retirement account by diversifying that portfolio, getting it out of that stock market. Because I'm telling you, when we talk about what we talked about last show with the impending economic doom, so to speak, when that happens, the stock market is toast. I mean, you're talking about losses of 20% or more per day for weeks straight. And if there's no one, there's no entity, there's no one person, there's no one that will ever be able to rescue your retirement account once that begins. And look, if you say, well, Phil, you're a doomsdayer, you're a fear monger, you could say that about me, but go look at all of the other people who are saying the same thing, because it's not just me. I can understand your point if it were just me saying these things and then offering you a solution. It looks like, well, he's trying to create a problem and then solve the problem and then benefit from the solving. I get that. But I'm not the only one saying this stuff. So yes, I am creating a solution for you by some of my platforms like Gold Quiz, but I'm doing it to try to help you out of that impending situation. And you could trust me or not trust me. That is obviously all up to you. But look at all the other people that are saying these same things. By the way, somebody just asked in the chat, did you ever find Axel? No. Our cat. We never did. I think someone found Axel, though, and kept him. Axel's a great cat. And if someone were to find him, they would want to keep him. So I think someone has Axel, and I'm pretty sure I know who it is, too. So, but no, we never got him back. It's unfortunate. Before we get into the good stuff tonight, I want to talk about one sponsor that I have. Let me make sure I get the readout right so I don't mess it up. I was just recently sick with strep throat. So strep throat, as you guys know, is sores in the back of your throat, these white sores in the back of your throat. And one thing that I didn't have on hand that you need to fight strep throat is some sort of antibiotic. It could be ivermectin, could be amoxicillin, could be Z-Pak, something like that. But I didn't have it on hand, so I had to wait, obviously, for it to get called in. the pharmacy to be ready. I had to go pick it up. I felt like I wasted a good day. Now I only recovered from this in 3 days. That's because I doused myself in colloidal silver. I had a colloidal silver nose, what's it called? Nose sprayer thing. So I was constantly just drenching my nose in colloidal silver, both nostrils, 3 squirts per nostril. It just clears everything out that's up in there. And that's where a lot of, the sicknesses embed themselves, is inside there. And I also had the colloidal silver, the ingestible one. I put it under your tongue, hold it for 30 seconds, swallow it. So I was killing that. Then I also found these colloidal silver lozenges, which they're like 50 or 60 parts per million, which is almost double what the other silver that I was using was. So I was silvering it up for like 2 days, and it kicked the crap out of the strep throat. I never recover from strep. It's the 3rd time I've had strep throat, and I've never recovered so quickly. I think the LifeWave patches helped as well, because I started putting them all over my throat for a couple days. But one thing I didn't have was a strong antibiotic. Now, I know colloidal silver is also an antibiotic. I know that. It's a natural antibiotic. I get that. But I would have liked to have an ivermectin laying around, or an amoxicillin laying around, or a Z-Pak or whatever. And I did it. And shame on me, because one of my sponsors for tonight offers that to you guys. And you could actually get a discount by going to their website. It's called The Wellness Company. And I know, you guys are going to say, oh, well, the owner of The Wellness Company. Well, the reason why the owner of The Wellness Company goes under attack is because he offers ivermectin to people, and no one owns ivermectin, so no one makes money off of ivermectin. So they don't want you to go to The Wellness Company and buy their product, because they're not Cabal. So that's why they're one of my sponsors. So you can avoid the ER line. There's 8 life-saving prescription-only medications that you could get on this website. Treats over 30 common diseases, includes amoxicillin, clavulanate, ivermectin, which are very frequently in short supply. Go to twc.health. That's TWC for The Wellness Company, twc.health/Phil. By going there, you'll immediately get 10% off your order, and I think they give you more than that on ongoing subscriptions as well. So check that out. twc.health/Phil is the sponsor for tonight. Now, we're going to talk tonight about what we're going to do tonight is kind of expand on my last live. My last live, we talked about should not happen. Should not happen when I have Do Not Disturb on. It's very aggravating. We talked about this upcoming economic catastrophe, right? We talked about all the reasons for it. We also talked about how not all of us are going to have this comfy landing spot. And there's going to be a lot of confusion. There's going to be a period in which we might not know exactly what to do. We might not be able to work because we're told that we can't. There's going to be some version of martial law, albeit some sort of limited version of martial law. There will be some version of martial law that really prevents us from doing what we're used to doing. And that's living how we're used to living, working how we're used to working. And in the aftermath of all of that, when things start to normalize again, what's going to happen is a complete reset of the global economy, not just within the United States, but globally as well. And I actually had a team meeting with some of my enrollers for some of the companies that I have last night, and I told them to brace themselves for a lot of people rushing into the companies that I've started, for fear of when we come back is will our jobs even be there? When the economy comes back, will the jobs that we're used to even be there anymore? So I've pinpointed a lot of professions, which we're going to go over tonight, that I think are in immediate danger um, of not being around when the new version of our economy comes back. And some of them that we're going to talk about tonight, you're already seeing signs of it happening. I don't know how many of you are in any of these professions. I don't know if you have, a family member or a relative or a loved one that's in any of these professions, but I do think that if there are any of you that are associated with the professions we're going to talk about tonight, I think it's a really good time to think about your next move. Because if you're not forethinking, and if you're not ready for the change, and if you're not able to adjust to the change on the fly, it's very likely you're just going to fall flat on your face. And I really don't want to see that happen to anybody, especially when there's an alternative. So we're going to talk tonight about that alternative and about several alternatives that I think you could brace yourself and provide some sort of soft landing to what we talked about in my previous live. So let's get started on this. Last night I had a Zoom call against my better judgment because I felt like shit. But last night I had a Zoom call with my team. And what I told them was, when this hammer drops and when this economy burst happens, are we going to, when it resets and we get back on our feet, what's going to look similar? Is anything going to look similar? Or is it all just going to be completely different and foreign to us and no one knows what to do? So I found out as much about this as I possibly could. And I want to talk a little bit about that before we get into specifics. Many of you that are watching right now are older than me, right? I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41, in another couple months, whatever it is, a month and a half. And I would say the majority of people watching right now are probably older than me. So that would put you in the generation above me, or maybe 2 generations above me. What we're used to, and even me, I'm kind of on the cusp of a large change now. But the majority of people that are here have been used to an employment atmosphere, an employment. Your definition of employment is getting up for work in the morning, going to work, working, punching out in the afternoon, and going home. And then maybe you get home 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. And then you have that 5 or 6 hours, however long it is, maybe even less, to spend with your family. You have 2 days off on the weekends normally for most jobs. Go back to work on Monday. Work your 5 days. Sometimes if that job doesn't pay you enough, you get another one. And maybe you work that job at nights. Maybe you work on the weekends. Maybe you have a side hustle, a side gig to supply extra money. That way of work, that definition of work, that's not how work is going to be anymore. That's the old way of working. getting up in the morning, going to your job, coming home in the afternoon or the evening, having dinner with the family, doing a couple after school activities with the kids, having 2 days off on the weekend, and then repeat. What I like to call that system is the cabal economy, because that's exactly where they want you. They want you working that job that doesn't pay enough. I guarantee you that if I polled my audience right now and I asked my entire audience, do you think you get paid at your job enough for what you do? Or do you think you're underpaid? Guarantee you that a strong majority is going to say that you're underpaid for what you do. And that is 100% accurate. You are underpaid for what you do. You know why? Because your wage is controlled by the cabal. You're nothing but a slave. That's all you are. Slavery. When Lincoln abolished slavery, Lincoln said the white man can no longer own the black man and have the black man do work for him. Now, that was what slavery was, right? The rich white men down south had these big plantations, and the black man would be forced to work for the white man. The other side of that is the black man was provided food and shelter. So I'm in no way glorifying slavery and saying, well, it wasn't really slavery. It was. The white man thought that they owned the slave. They thought that that was their property. And Lincoln came in and he said, no, we're not doing that shit anymore. And he got rid of it, as he should have. However, if you compare what slavery was, which was the white man had slaves, workers. They provided the slaves with food and shelter. And for the food and shelter, the slaves did a job. Now, were they treated terribly? Of course. Of course. It should have never been that way. Right? Slavery was awful. And we're lucky we had a strong president come in and end it. But guess what, guys? It's exactly what you're doing right now. No, you're not owned by the plantation owner anymore. You don't have, the one guy or the one family that claims ownership to you. But are you not a slave to your job? Could you just quit? Answer me. Could you walk into work tomorrow and be like, I had enough of this shit. I quit. I'm out of here. I know you could do that. Unless you have an employment contract, in which case you're even in worse shape. But can you actually do that? Could you afford to walk into your job tomorrow and say, I quit? Just don't have any other job lined up or anything. Just go in and quit. Is there any way you could possibly do that? And if you do you lose your house? Do you lose your car? Do you have the ability to provide food and shelter for your family? You're going to run into a very, very difficult time for months, weeks, months, longer. And then you have to find new employment. Why quit a job and risk all those things that I just said if you just have to go out and find another job anyway and be in the same exact situation? How is this any different from slavery? Oh, and by the way, when you work, before they give you that paycheck, what do they take? So you earn $20 an hour. You work a 40-hour work week. Do the quick math, $800, right? Do you get $800? Do you get 800? Nope. Nope. They're going to take those taxes away. And who's taking the taxes? Well, the people that are taking the taxes are the same people that own the company you work for. It's on a much grander scale, of course. It's not the person, like your boss isn't the guy that's taking the taxes. He's collecting them for the person that owns his company, who then gives them to the state or the federal government, or I'm sorry, what I should say is the Federal Reserve. It's all the same people. You work, you are a slave. You're a slave. You don't even, there's 24 hours a day. You probably sleep between 6 and 8 of those. You work probably between 8 and 10, and you have a little bit of time left over in the day to do whatever you want to do. You don't even have the majority of your day free because you have to go to work. What are we doing? Did I just describe something that sounds pitiful? What kind of life are we even living? And trust me, I did this from the time I was 18 years old up until 2020, when I woke up and said, this is stupid. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to take control of my own shit. I'm literally never working for anyone again. When I was in real estate, we're going to talk about real estate tonight, but when I was in real estate sales, you wanted to make good money, you're never home. Talking to all my realtors out there, right? How many realtors do I have, or in a past profession, you were a realtor, that just wanted to be the best? You wanted to outsell everybody, being the top of your board, top commission earner in your company, and just kill it, right? You loved having that reputation. You loved being number one. You loved the commission that was associated with that. How often were you home? Were you single? Because if you weren't single and you had a spouse or a significant other, I'm sure that didn't go great when you're home maybe 2 hours at the end of the night. And then you're gone first thing next morning, showing houses or listing houses, or God forbid you owned your own company. And you got all those agents that want you on the phone constantly all day long. Slaves. It's slavery. It's modern day slavery. They took away the free shelter and the free food for jobs. Shouldn't even say free, because you worked, you got shelter, and you got food. Now, ownership was claimed on you by your master, but ownership is claimed on you now. You're a bitch. You are. You're a bitch to the system. The system sucks. It sucks. How many of you are retired now? You're retired, so you're living off Social Security or your pension, right? If I polled my audience, similar to what I said earlier, if I polled my audience and I said, do you think you get enough Social Security income? Or do you think you get enough from your pension? I am positive that the vast majority, just like the last question when I asked, do you think you're underpaid? The vast majority of you are going to say, absolutely not. I do not get enough from Social Security, and I do not get enough from my pension. I barely scrape by in my retirement. Well, here's the good news. Those days are gone. It may not be gone right now as I'm saying this, but those days of working a 9-to-5 job for a piece of shit salary and a job you don't even really want to do, but because you don't have the educational requirements, or because some cabal college told you, well, you don't have a high enough degree. Oh, and by the way, if you do want that degree, you have to pay us tens of thousands of dollars per semester. See what I mean? They tell you where you could work based on how much you could pay. And if you can't pay it, you can't work there, because we're not going to give you that education. So they control your education, place you into the employment field, wherever they think, wherever your money will buy you. And even then, even if you somehow get out on the top and you're in a higher echelon, you're an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer or somebody that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars a year based on your degree, you're still a bitch to the system. Because if you make that much money, would you go in tomorrow and quit? Would you just say, yeah, I'm not going to work here anymore? Like Office Space? My people Samir Naga. Well, I'm not going to work here anymore anyway. It's a great movie. You should watch it if you never have. Any of you, no matter what your salary is, would you just be willing to go in and be like, I'm done. I'm not going to work here anymore. I'm not going to do it. I don't like how many hours a day this job is, and I'm going to work less. I'm going to have more time for my family and my loved ones and myself, and I'm going to enjoy this beautiful life that God gave us. Any of you have the guts to do that? Can you even do that? Because if the answer is no and you can't, then you are a slave. You are a slave to the cabal system that's been in place for 200 years. And let me tell you, it hasn't always been this way. It's just been this way since the last Great Reset. Right after that, the new leaders of the world, which we refer to as the cabal. Somebody just said over here, I wish we could, Phil. Well, you can. And tonight I'm going to show you how you can. I'm going to show you how to thumb your nose to the system and walk out of that job with a smile on your face. You retired? Great. Even better. For the last 200 years, the people that won the last great war, so to speak, and came into power after the last Great Reset. And for those of you that don't know what that means, our Earth is a clock, and it's on a schedule. And the sun and the moon and our climate, which is controlled by the sun and the moon, the magnetic forces that control the sun and the moon and tell the sun and the moon where to go, rotate around our flat plane on a regular basis. And every so many years, I'm not going to get into the details, but every so many years, the sun takes a new trajectory around our Earth. About 200 years ago, sometime in the 1800s, new lands appeared. The lands that we live on now, that we've lived on for the last 200 years. New lands appeared. And the people that had to move away from the old lands occupied the new lands. Most of the people that lived in the old lands didn't survive. Only a select group did. And that, excuse me, that select group made their way into the new lands that our sun is now illuminating and heating and making a better climate for. And that new group took over. And when that new group did take over, they were some pretty bad people. And they put in place the systems that we have today. Well, that's all about to go away. When this economic crisis, when this economic collapse happens, not only within the United States, but worldwide, when it comes back, when the economy comes back, there are going to be certain professions that almost immediately cease to exist. And if you're one of them, I got news for you. You better start thinking about something different, and you better start thinking about that tonight. Let me give you a glaring It boggles my mind, the people that come in, and I just happen to glance over at the chat every now and then, and the people that come in and say, well, where's the intel? Well, where are your ears? Do you have any comprehension ability? I mean, what am I talking about? Am I talking about spaghetti and meatballs? Am I talking about unicorns? Octopus? What do you think's coming out of my mouth? What do you think happens? Like, red lights start going off when the intel happens, and that's the only time you're supposed to pay attention? If you can't follow along an hour or 2 hour long live stream and comprehend every, like, all of it from beginning to end, then you're going to miss the intel. I don't know what to tell you. Jeez. Tell them shut up and listen. Blows my mind. Where's the intel? There's always that, like, a couple guys. Where's the intel? There's no intel? When's Trump coming back? Like, if you're just interested in Trump coming back and you're not interested in where you might and where your money that you're making right now is coming from in the next several months or several years, then you got a serious problem. I have a list of professions here that are in grave danger based on what I know and based on the massive changes that are coming over the immediate future, I should say. And one that we've already seen because of various lawsuits that are happening across the country is the profession of a realtor. And I kind of knew that. I kind of got wind of it about 5 years ago. About 7 years ago, it was about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I sold 4 major companies that I owned in Pennsylvania. One was a real estate broker. It's called the Agency Real Estate Group. I also owned a mortgage company, which you could go to and get a mortgage. I owned a title insurance company, which everybody that buys a house has to have title insurance to make sure you're not inheriting somebody else's debt. So we do a search, make sure that there's no outstanding debt, and the debt if there is any debt, it gets paid off at closing. So I own the real estate brokerage, title company, mortgage company. I also own the real estate school, where if you wanted to become a real estate agent, you come to me, I teach the class, I charge you money. 6 weeks later, you walk out with a certificate, take the test, and become a realtor. I sold all those. The profession of real estate, I think, is going to become completely obsolete. It's actually illegal. If you look at, I'm not going to get into the actual statutes and the actual laws and the actual acts that exist, but if you look at what happens in a transaction which a real estate agent, a realtor, or a broker interacts with a client, whether it's a home seller or a potential home buyer, that whole relationship violates any and every rule that's ever been written about fiduciary responsibility. So there are various lawsuits happening across the United States right now, and those lawsuits will continue to happen. And I am positive that the real estate agent and real estate broker that we've known for years will now become some sort of AI generated representative. I don't think that there is any need whatsoever for a real estate agent to take part in a transaction. And the only reason that exists for a real estate agent to exist is for a commission check. And we're seeing that rear its ugly head right now in the lawsuits that exist. I think real estate agents are doomed. I think it's a profession of the past and certainly not one for the future. And me saying that holds a little bit of weight, I think, because I was in it for 17 years. And not only do I say that because of the profession itself and everything that the profession's going through, but when this economic collapse happens, it's going to be so dire and so severe that by the time people are actually able to buy or sell real estate again, realtors would have already had to have moved on and found something else to do, because what do you do in the meantime if that's your full-time gig? You would have already found something else to do. Well, I got some options for you tonight. We're going to talk about that a little later. Health insurance agents. You sell health insurance? Not going to be needed. There's no need. Do you work for a health insurance company? Health insurance. I think our grandkids won't know what health insurance is. They're going to have to look it up in a history book. Do you work for a major health insurance corporation? There's not going to be any need for that in the future. With med beds, there will be positions open for med beds, for med bed representatives, maybe med bed technicians, maybe med bed customer service reps, something like that. But where you are now in insurance, whether you're a rep or whether you're a desk jockey within a major company like Cigna or any of the giants, there's no place for that in the future economy. There's also no need to have health insurance. That's a payment that goes to the cabal for no reason. It's a scam. Health insurance has always been a scam. Health insurance has been a political tool to keep you poor. That's why Obama made you pay for it. Pay for it or we're going to take money out of your taxes anyway. No bigger cabal puppet in more recent years than Obama, right? Obamacare? The F out of here already. Trump finally did away with that. Anything in the health insurance arena, there's no future for that. Not where we're going. You guys have to understand, everything that you know is about to change into something that you've never even thought possible. We're going into a new realm altogether. We're not like sitting in the same old world with the same old jobs and the same old fees and the same old charges. We are moving on from that system, from that world. We're going completely into something different. This isn't about Trump in office. This is about taking down centuries worth of bad actors and bad companies and people that preyed on your weaknesses and wanted to keep you poor forever. So unless you could start thinking along those lines, you're not going to understand a word coming out of my mouth. These live streams that I do are not to make you feel warm and fuzzy. If you want warm and fuzzy, go over to a different channel. I was going to mention someone, but I'm not going to do it because I feel nice tonight. I feel nice. I want to be nice. If you want warm and fuzzy and you want just the good stuff and you want to hear that your life is going to remain the same and that everything is going to have the same old nice place at the table, I'm not going to tell you that because everything's going to change. Now, do you want to be on the cusp of that change and fall softly and then get up on your feet and build? Or do you just want to hear what you want to hear and fall hard on your face and have a hard time getting to your feet while you get trampled on? That's up to you. You make that choice. But if you want help and you want the truth, that's what I'm here for. So you could stay tuned for the rest of this, or you could, if you could leave. Little X. There's a little X up there on the top of your screen somewhere. It might be a little red dot like I have on my Mac. Could be an X. Swipe up, whatever you want to do. Go. Or stay tuned. Because we're going to provide a soft landing tonight. What else? Pharmaceutical sales reps. You guys make some good money, don't you? You like taking those big pharma products and putting them in front of doctors and being, oh, we got a new one coming out. And if you sell this to your patients, you get a bonus. Because it's an overpriced drug anyway. So yeah, they could afford to pay out big bonuses, can't they? Not only to the doctors, but also to you as the rep. So you guys make some good commission bucks, huh? Nope. Viewer count, 36. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, 36,100,000. Pharmaceutical reps. Travel to doctor's office, peddling those products. I know it's your job. I don't hold anything against you, but I do hold everything against the pharmaceutical companies that are cabal. Those drugs aren't needed. In fact, most of those drugs just make people sicker. Reps? Nah. Do you work for a major pharmaceutical company? Well, that's a problem too. Because they're not needed. They were never needed. They were created, yet again, to take money away from you. They weren't created for any benefit to you at all. They were created to keep you poor, just like your job was created to keep you poor, just like the degree that you paid for to get that job. That was all of those things were just to keep you poor. Do you like being poor? Are you okay with it? Do you like forget about the poor and the money aspect of it? Do you like not having time in your day to do the things that actually make you happy? Because if you like that, then just proceed. Keep doing what you're doing. Just stay sick because they push all these drugs down your system. They tell you that it's healthy for you too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Why do you think we die when we're in our 70s and our 80s? Anyone ever look in the Bible and trace the ages of the people in the Bible? From Adam to Noah to Methuselah, Seth. Just keep going. Trace all their ages. Do you think when God mentioned years, the term years in the Bible, he didn't go off of 365 days? Do you think he meant a year was a much shorter period of time? Or do you think a year actually meant a year? So Methuselah lived till 969 years old, I believe. Oldest person in the Bible. I think Adam was 800 and some years. You could actually trace all this in the Bible because they talk about it throughout the Bible. And if you peg those years and associate them with certain dates that are mentioned in the Bible, you'll see how long people used to live to. Now we live to 70 or 80 years. Why? Well, that all started about 200 years ago. Do you think some people that were around to start the cabal's new control around back in the 1800s, do you think that they're still alive? You think JP Morgan's still alive? Hmm. How old do you think Mr. Rothschild was when he passed? How long do you think he's been alive? Oh, I know I know how old they say he is. That's not what I'm asking you. How old do you think the Rockefellers are? Let me ask you this. If those people, these big cabal guys, were actually alive in the 1800s, if they're still alive today, that would make them 150, 200 years old, roughly, right? How would you know if they were alive in the 1800s? Oh, you wouldn't. You wouldn't know unless they told you. So maybe these people that are in control and have been ruining our lives for 200 years, maybe they're keeping us around for 70, 80 years life expectancy, some of us much younger. People are dying of heart attacks now in their 50s and getting cancer at a young age and dying. Why do some people live like well into their hundreds and others die in their 60s? Don't tell me it's genetics. How would you know if some of the big names are actually as old as they are? What if they're like much, 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 much older? How would you know? Be- so you're assuming that, well, they can't live that long, Phil. Why do you assume that? Because that's what the cabal told you? Why do we believe what the cabal tells us? I thought we didn't do that stuff. Hmm. So are we selective in what we believe the cabal tells us? We're just going to assume that those people would have had to have died if they lived through the last great reset of the 1800s. How do you know? Because that's what they want you to think? Um, Maybe we should start thinking and using our brains instead of letting the cabal corrupt our brains and implanting what they want us to think. Isn't that what the mainstream media has done forever? And we're just finally waking up to it now? Something to think about, huh? Anyway, pharmaceuticals have kept us sick and they've diminished our lifespan. And if you go back, the earth is about 6,000 years old. And if you go back to about 6,000 years ago, when the biblical people that we mentioned lived, they lived hundreds and hundreds of years. And look at what has happened in the thousands of years to follow. Pharmaceuticals have no future in our future economy. There's just no reason for it. There's never been a reason. And finally, we're going to eliminate it. Do you work for a utility company? Like what, an electric company? What do they do? You go out and read the meter? You put up telephone poles and lines? Are you a customer service rep where you have to collect money from the customer for the electric bill or for the gas bill? You don't need to do that, though, because utilities are a scam. Just another way to take money away from you. So those jobs, don't get me wrong, there's going to be some need for expertise in the free electricity system that we're going to have, but there's not going to be need for any of the jobs that I could possibly think of that relate to any utility companies at all. You work for a cell phone company? You work for Verizon or AT&T or Sprint or who the hell knows what other one? Why? I know why you work there, because you get paid. But why do we need your company? Why do we need your company to charge us to make a call that's free? We don't need networks. We could put up towers. We could put up, for the size of the United States, maybe 20 towers strategically located throughout the United States. And everyone could use those towers without any sort of overload. That's a farce too, by the way. You can't overload a network. Not if the network is for free cellular. Cellular is free. Like, all you do is you connect to the ether. You connect one point of the ether to the other point of the ether, and you turn the ether into vibration. That's all it is. There's no like, we have the largest 4G LTE network in the world. We are Verizon. That's a lie. That's a lie. There's no network. That's not a thing. The network is free for anyone to use. As many people that wants to use it at any time. And there's very little technology involved in it. A little bit of hardware, but not much. All these professions that I'm mentioning these are all cabal run entities and all cabal ideas simply designed to dumb us down, make us less of ourselves, extract money, extract health, and keep us under their thumbprint for as long as they want. Well, the time has come for anyone within the sound of my voice to make a change. When, Phil, when? I'm not talking about stuff that's like years out. That's not what this is. Like, we're about to flip a switch, and we're about to become a totally different society than we've ever been. So this is not something that you could sit on. This is not something that you could think about and be like, well, I don't know if I believe him or not, because by the time you get to that point, it's probably going to be too late. Tax collectors. Why? Why would you need a tax collector? No one has to pay taxes. Taxes, first of all, are voluntary. Somebody just said, well, the IRS is still collecting. Are they? Or are they just sending out letters? They'll take your money if you give it to them. But I don't think they're actually like forcefully out there ripping into your. If you sign something with them that says, yeah, I'll pay you, then yeah, they're going to take your money. They're going to send you letters, I'm sure. I don't see any positions at the IRS. Now, there's going to be some stuff at the Treasury available, of course, because we're going to take back our security and we're going to, the money that people do pay is going to come back to our country to fortify our military, our borders, to make our country better educational system, fewer jobs, but a happier population. Imagine that. Fewer people working, less crime, and an overall stress-free emotional state for the American people. Those things don't seem to go together, do they? You would think that, well, if less people are working, that means less people have money, which means more crime, which means more stress, more anxiety, more murder, more everything, right? That's because you're thinking of a system that was put into place by the cabal, and the way that the system is run by the cabal keeps you unhealthy, unhappy, and friggin' broke. Well, no more. I say no more. I want to welcome you. Oh, before I do. I want to talk to my retirees. I saw earlier in the chat when I said I'm 40, how old are you? I didn't actually ask that. It was that rhetorical. But you answered it anyway in the chat. People 60, 70, 72, 60, 60. So you're retirement age or approaching retirement age, right? Why do you retire? Is it because you don't want money anymore? Echo, don't say that to me. How about now? Echo gone? Is it gone or not? Tell me. I hate this delay. Is it gone? Is the echo gone? Is it gone? Good now? Good, better, good. Good. Sorry about the echo. I don't know why that keeps happening. It's got to be a connection thing because it's certainly not my microphone or anything like that. So it's probably just a connection, like an internet connection thing. Anyway, back to retirees. Why do you not work anymore if you're retired or you're thinking about retiring? Do you just not want money anymore? So you're like, screw it. I'm done with money. I don't want it. So I quit and I retire. Is that it? Help me understand. I mean, I'm younger, so I don't know. So what? What is the retirement? If it's not that, because obviously it's not that, right? You'd still want money in your retirement. I'm sure you had some sort of savings or retirement account, right? What 77 years old, do you not want money? So tired of working. Okay. All right, now we're on to something. Let's buy into that one. I'm going to take that comment. Tired of working. Why? Why are you tired of working? Are you lazy? I'm just asking. I don't know. Tell me. Is that not it? You're not lazy? You're what? You're tired of working, but you're what? Tell me. Exhausted. Okay. Why? You getting sick, more disabled, broken health? Gotcha. So now I get it. You're retiring because you're getting up in age and your body is not as young as it used to be. Maybe you're not as mentally sharp as you used to be, right? That is a reasonable answer. You are retiring because you can no longer do the things that you could do in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and so on, right? In your 60s, 70s, things are starting to slow down. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you hate money and you don't want any more of it. In fact, you probably prepared yourself throughout your working career with some sort of savings so that you could retire and you didn't have to work at a later age, right? But it's certainly not because you don't want money anymore, right? It's just because physically you're drained. You worked for the cabal your whole life. Listen to me. My grandfather, God bless his soul, this guy was a worker. Remember, I told you about people in my area, how they're very working class, blue collar people? We have coal miners here, man. Like we have coal mines all throughout the tri-county radius that I kind of occupy here, or at least Lackawanna and Luzerne County, especially Lackawanna. But we had coal miners here that, they'd go to work before the sun was up and they'd work in coal mines and they'd come back when the sun was down, rinse off, go to sleep and repeat. And they did that for years and years and years and years. Just to supply for the just so ungrateful punks like me could sit here and do a show. And I'm not ungrateful, but there are ungrateful punks out there that do that. I'm very grateful for my grandfather wasn't a coal miner, but his father was. Would have been my great grandfather, and he was a tough son of a bitch. I never met him, but he was strong. Little guy, coal miner, hard worker. And what happened was my great grandfather instilled that in my grandfather. And although my grandfather didn't work in coal mines, he worked anywhere he could. He'd sell sandwiches outside of businesses if it meant he could make an extra $50 that week. And hours and hours and hours. He did that till his dying day. He owned a business in Music, which is in Lackawanna County, and just worked his ass off, 70 some years old, he's down there making breakfast sandwiches and putting sticky labels on them for $2.50. And I used to work down there for a while too back in the day, and I would do the math on the 250. So it's a breakfast sandwich, right? He put 2 scrambled eggs on it, a piece of cheese, either ham, sausage, or bacon, and then the bun, and then the foil that it's wrapped in plus the sticker. So I'm adding all this up in my head, and the total cost probably came to like $1.75. He's selling it for $2.50. He's making 75 cents on a sandwich. And then he sells maybe 20, 25 sandwiches. So maybe he makes $20 in a day. What about the 6 sandwiches that didn't sell? You got to throw those away. So now all the money you made on the 15 sandwiches that you did sell, you just threw 6 away, but they were still $1.75 food cost. So you multiply that, and now the money that you made on the you didn't make anything. But yet he's getting up at 5 in the morning to make the sandwiches to have them ready for 7 for the work rush. What are we doing? I told him that so many times. He didn't care. He's making the sandwiches anyway. He's just going to do it because he's a hard worker. And he did that into his 70s. People want to work. I think people retire when they can't work anymore physically. They just can't do it. So they retire. But it's not because they don't want to work. They probably still would if they felt better, if they weren't pumped full of all these cabal drugs. Or it's certainly not because they don't want more money. They don't want to live on less money in retirement. They want at least the same income to come in, if not even more than that. So if you're a retiree, the new system that's coming, you can still work. You just never even have to leave your house. No reason for you to even get up. Will you have to have a phone and maybe computer and internet access? Yeah, sure. But when you think of the term work and you think of the term employment, I think it's time we need to rewrite definitions for those. Because you think work means get up, drive to a place, put in your hours, wait a week or two and get a check. Do that 5, 6 times a week, 40, 60 hours a week, whatever it is. And that's work. Well, I want to scratch off that definition and I want to tell you that that is not work. That is slavery. And if you want to be a slave, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. It's not going to affect me. If you want to do that, do it. It's not going to affect me. But I want to help the people that do believe that that's slavery. And I want to help the people realize that you could have all of your time in the day to yourself without having to go do something for somebody else that thinks you're a piece of shit. And by the way, you also think they're a piece of shit, but they're paying you and you're doing a task for them so you both tolerate each other. Well, that's called slavery. So if you want to be involved in that, fine. Be involved in it. Or join me. And let's walk away from the slavery forever. Let's never even think about it again. You're not going to have a boss. Why do you need to have a boss? Do you want a boss? Do you like saying, oh, well, my boss told me? Do you like that? Do you like starting a sentence that way? Do you like referring to someone superior to you other than God? A boss? You need to have a boss or a supervisor or a manager? Why do people have to supervise you? Why does someone have to boss you and tell you rules that you have to do? That's not a thing. That's slavery. That's your master. Do you get it? Do you not see it? How much more clear do I have to make this? And if you're not in the working field right now and you are a retiree, do you want to live off that measly money that you get from working so hard for all those years? You want to just take that Social Security check and be like, yeah, well, I only get $1,200 this month. Are you friggin' kidding me? $1,200? That's what you just want, $1,200. You're good. Oh, make sure you pay your health insurance out of that, though. What are we doing? What the hell are we doing? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being. I'm sick of watching and seeing people struggle. Now, let me just preface where we're going next with this, and we're going to be done here probably in about 30 minutes. Let me preface where I'm going with this. And I want to say this and get these people out of the room. Because if you're one of these people, I'm not talking to you. You're not going to be interested in anything. If you are, if you have what's called poverty consciousness, if you think that because you are poor, you must be poor, and you can never get out of being poor, because that's just who you are. If you think that, leave. Because I don't need nor want to waste any of my energy on you. You do not need to be poor. You do not need to live off the small amounts of breadcrumbs that you're given like you have been. You could change that, and I don't give a shit what age you're at. I'm looking in the chat and I'm baffled. Try 1023 a month. Somebody in here makes 1023 a month. What are we doing? Why? Why do you look at that and say, I know you probably don't, but how could anyone look at that and be like, how could anyone approve that as a monthly wage for a human and be like, yeah, that's enough. They could do that. No, you can't. How do you live off of $10,000 a month? 1090 a month, 814. Look at this. 1046, 756, 779, 110 a month. That can't be right. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 1101. I can't see for shit. Even this one, this is a high one. 22. I lost it. 2230 a month. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's not okay. And if you're okay with it, be okay with it and live out the rest of your life that way. But I'm going to offer you a change. What I'm going to offer you is a way to double, quadruple, or exponentially otherwise take the amount of bullshit money that you're making right now and just say, you know what? I don't want that anymore. You guys keep it. I got this other thing going on. And we're going to make it so easy for you to excel in the future of what I call work and employment. It's something that I've been practicing. Let me tell you a little secret. You guys know me as a live streamer, podcaster, somebody that sits here in front of this microphone and that camera and talks to you, right? And tells you about political stuff. But guess what? I could take this camera and I could take this microphone and put it out in my backyard, which is actually that way. So I don't know why I pointed that way. But anyway, I could take those things, put it out in my backyard in a burn barrel, douse it with a little bit of gasoline, throw a match in there, and never see your face. Well, I don't see your face, but you'll never see my face again. And guess what? Everything that I've done over the last 3 or 4 years allows perpetual income for the rest of my life. Because I don't believe in the employment system that's in place right now in the global economy. I don't think it's employment at all. I think it's slavery, as I said. So I started to say, you know what? We and me leading that charge, I'm going to change it. And maybe I'll do it small scale right now during a live stream. But let me tell you what. I just bought several domains just tonight. And I'm already in the process of making websites to help everybody get into the next phase of the global economy. And I don't care if you're a retiree or a realtor or a health insurance agent, a pharmaceutical rep, a utility company, or something else. If you're working for the man, for the cabal, and you're getting paid peanuts and you're not living the lifestyle that you want to live, make a change. And there always has to be that one guy or that one face or that one name that finally got you off your ass and allowed you to make the change. Something clicked in your head and you said, you know what? He's right. Screw this. Let's go. I'm only going to talk to you tonight about one of my companies. Just one. And there's a big reason we're only going to talk about that one. Let me show you something. Just one graphic. That's all I have to show you tonight is one graphic. Give me a second because I didn't set it up properly yet. Believe it or not, this is the first time you've ever seen this from me. Because for the last 9 months, I have not been allowed to talk about it. Until now. All right, we're going to do a share screen. I'm going to make myself little. I know that bothers my ego, but listen, ego. It's just going to have to be what it is. Share to a window, yes. Share this window, yes. Everybody see what's on the screen right now? It should say compensation plan enhancements. Let me do a little thing here. Let me make this a little bigger. It's kind of a lot bigger, but let's talk about it. I am involved with a company called LifeWave, and this company is next. This type of employment is what employment really is. This type of employment is what the future holds, because this type of employment requires no one to get out of their house and go anywhere except on vacations, except to places that you want to go, except to places that you'll win trips to by being involved with this company. Now let's look at the details a little bit further. I'm going to read starting up top. Compensation plan enhancements. As LifeWave continues to explode across the globe, we search for new and innovative ways to maximize your opportunity and strengthen your financial possibilities. With weekly maximum payouts by paid as rank and fair baseline qualifications for matching bonuses, you are in the driver's seat when it comes to your earning potential. Look at what you could make with this company. This is weekly commissions. Weekly commissions. Let me say that one more time. I want to say that again. Weekly commissions. Now, do I think it's realistic to sit here and say that all of you are going to be senior presidential directors? No, I don't. But let me tell you the truth. I see anyone that's sitting here right now very, very likely to get to a manager position. Very, very likely. And I think it's only slightly less likely that you have the ability to get to director, which earns you between $1,500 and $2,500 per week. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're 77 years old and you haven't worked in the last 5 years. You don't need to. All you need to do is allow me and my team to teach you what to do. All right. If you're not capable of learning and you're not willing to learn and you're not willing to log on to your computer, just like you're logged on now listening to me, and listen to a weekly training or some new videos that were put out by the company or whatever, this isn't for you. It's not for you. But if you could sit here and watch me, or you could sit there and watch Telegram, or you could sit there and watch Fox News, or God forbid, CNN, then you should be able to learn a little bit about this product. And let me tell you something else. I'm wearing it right now. Let me get my patch off. It's time to take it off anyway. I think it is. Are you unhealthy? Are you sick of what the drugs that have been forced down your throat have done to you? Start wearing these. Wait until you see how many different versions of this exist and what they all do for you. There's a general wellness patch. It's called the X39 patch. There's an X49 patch, which covers different things. There are patches for to control cravings. There are patches for inflammation. There are patches for so many different things, and these things completely change your life from a health point of view. This stem cell patch, which activates your own body stem cells. Nothing comes through this. This is non-transdermal. So you put it on your skin somewhere, wherever it hurts. Could be anywhere. Could be your knee, could be your back, could be your neck, could be anything. And This patch, because of the crystals that are inside of it, activate what's already in your body. It's already in your body. So it's not giving you any stem cells. This is copper peptides going to work in crystal form that uses light therapy to activate what your body already has to make you more healthy, to give you more energy, to take away your ailments. There are studies after studies after studies associated with this company. Scientific studies. You want to see the next generation of employment and what work looks like? Work looks like having somebody like Phil be able to take enrollments coming in from a website and place them strategically to build out one of your downlines. And when that happens, all you got to do is build out the other one. And we could teach you exactly how to do that. Do you know any realtors? Do you know any pharmaceutical reps? They're perfect for this. Do you know any utility salespeople? Do you know anybody in sales at all? You just keep plugging them down the system. We'll tell you exactly where to put them. And I promise you, if you work hard at this and you do exactly what we tell you to do, those blues and oranges and greens that are on your screen right now are not out of reach. And guess what? Once they're enrolled, once people are enrolled in this, they don't quit. They'll never quit. Because this impacts your life so much on a health point of view, from a health point of view, that you're not going to stop doing something that is making you healthier. You will pay for this every single month, every single time. This is the future of employment, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you're going to work. You don't have to leave your house. You don't want to work one day? Don't. You don't want to work 1 week? Don't. Guess what? You're still going to get paid your commission because you got people signed up. The future economy is changing, and it is changing rapidly, and there's nothing we could do about it. It is going to happen. Professions are going to go by the wayside, and there has to be another way for us to get out from underneath the people that have controlled us for so long and still earn money. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Stay exactly where you're at right now. Sign up for this. Take a flyer on it. Let us help you build your downline. And let us show you how to build the other side of your downline. And if you put that faith into me and into my group, you will never, ever, ever regret it. In fact, today could be the very first day of the rest of your life in terms of employment. Now I'm going to put a website on the screen. That's the website, but the link is actually down below in the description as well. This will allow you to schedule an appointment with my enrollment team. My enrollment team and I had a very long meeting against my better judgment because I was so sick last night about this, and they're prepared for every single question that you could possibly ask. You are going to have a little bit of money to sign up for this. If you don't have it, borrow it. Figure out a way to get the sign-up fee. Ask someone to lend you the money to sign up for this. This is the future. This is what we're talking about. The way of working and going to that 9-to-5 job all the time, every single day, day in and day out, is over. Let me help you transition into the next phase of employment. I know what I'm doing. I promise you I know what I'm doing. And I promise you I could help you change your life forever, for the better. not only from an income point of view, but also from a health point of view, because these things are amazing. Are you going to have to are you going to have the the money to get involved with this on a brand partner level? Yeah. You're going to have to come up with the first couple $100 or whatever it is. You're going to have to do that. But by the time the next month comes around, you're not going to have to worry about that $200 or whatever it is to sign up. You're not going to have to worry about it because you're going to be earning commission as long as you follow the instructions that my team lays out for you. There should be no reason why the hundreds of thousands of people that are watching this video right now don't click the damn link and set up an appointment. Now, the calendar opens up on Monday. We're not taking any appointments before Monday. We have a couple of training things this weekend. So when you go to that link, it's going to ask you to put in your availability. If you are another member of 7K or any other MLM that I have, you could still join this. It's no longer a thing where you can't have dual membership. So you could still do this even if you are a member of those other platforms. This is the future, ladies and gentlemen. And we could teach you how to change your employment. And all the things that we said earlier in this live could completely be turned around for the better, forever. And you can literally change not only your lives, but the future generations that follow you. There should be no reason why every single person watching right now doesn't do this. No reason. Yes, if you're 7K, you could join. Those restrictions have been lifted rather. If you're a 7K member, you could now join LifeWave. There is no restrictions against that. Zero. You won't even be asked on the website anymore. I think we used to have this many months ago. We used to have this where it asked if you were a 7K member. It makes no difference if you are anymore. Also, this is this is not restricted to only the United States like some of the other companies were. This is, you could be in just about anywhere and join LifeWave. This is part of an MLM masterclass that I'm going to be, you can't read the link. Why? Because it's blue. Well, X patches will help with that, with your eyesight. I'm just kidding. There you go. Is that better? Here, you don't actually need the HTTPS in there. You could just go right to, oh man, this is going to be a tough thing to do, huh? Oh, not going to do it. There you go. You can just put xpatches.philgodlewski.live. You don't have to put the HTTPS://. You don't need to do that. Again, if you're a 7K member and you were told you can't do this before, that is gone. That restriction is no longer there. Trolls. I get there's going to be trolls. Oh, he's trying to sell another thing. No, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to earn a massive amount of people a massive amount of money. And if you're a troll and you want to earn money, join. Join. I don't care who you are. We could literally teach you, no matter what your skill set is, we could teach you how to excel in this business. Excel. Look at those levels. Let me put the levels on the screen one more time. Pick one that you want to go to in your head. You don't have to announce it to the world. Pick one of those that you want to go to. You want 100 a week? 15? You want 7,500 a week? You want 25? By the way, it's not capped at 25,000. It's 25,000 plus bonuses and based on points. So the more points you get, the top earner in this company right now is earning about $90,000 a week. That's not me, by the way, yet. Pick a level. What level do you want? When you look at this and you say, well, if I had to pick a level that I want to go to, which level do I want to go to? You want the $25,000 a week one? We're going to teach you exactly how to get there. And guess what? You don't have to do anything but try. You don't have to do a single thing but try. You want the orange level? You like 10,000 a month, 2,500 a week? We'll get you there. We just need your attention. We need you to listen. We need you to listen and learn. We don't need you to come to us 8 hours a day like you do at your job where you make jack shit money and you hate your boss. You hate even having a boss. We don't need that. We just need you to listen and be taught. And I think no matter what profession you've ever been in, and no matter how old you are, I think you have the ability to listen. And I think you have the ability to learn. And honestly, we don't even need a lot of effort. We don't need you to be super smart. We don't need you to be a salesman. We don't need any of that because we're surrounding you with people that I've already trained to do all that. So we will identify strengths and weaknesses based on a sign up per person level, and we will help you grow. We will train you to grow, and we will change your life forever. I'm in the process right now